That was weird.
That was super weird.
Hey guys! Hey guys! Who can do the most obnoxious hey guys? Today we are going to be doing our marriage/wedding Q&A. We've literally planned to do this 3 times now, and each time like it just, I don't know, hasn't happened. Other plans have come up or whatever. And so now today we are finally doing it, and I'm actually happy. I feel like it was meant to be that it was pushed back, because this last round of questions that I like asked you guys on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, definitely go follow me there, so that you can submit questions for stuff like this. But you guys asked some really good questions. I'm really excited. So these are all going to be pertaining to our relationship, our marriage, our wedding, anything like that. So if you're interested in getting to know a little bit more about us, then keep on watching. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you are not already. So I have all of the questions on my phone, so I'm just going to be looking there to decide which ones we're gonna answer. So let's get started.
Buck will be answering the first question.
Let's start with this one in case people don't know us already. How long did you date before you got engaged? So I feel like anyone who knows us like or has watched my videos for a little bit, you probably already know this, but we dated for a long time before we got engaged. We met in high school. We met actually when we were in like elementary school. We live in a very small town, so we always, like, our families knew each other, but we actually like met as like, I don't know, talking, you know, sort of thing, when I was a freshman and he was a junior in high school. So we started dating then, and as with any high school relationship, there were like ups and downs, but we never like dated anybody in between. So ever since then, we've always like only dated each other. So how long would that be before we got engaged? It was 7 or 8 years?
It was almost 8 years before we got engaged.
Almost 8 years before we got engaged, but by the time we got married, we had like a 1.5 year long engagement.
Wait, no. No, it was 8 years before we got married, so it was like 6.5 before we got engaged.
Right.
6.
Now we've been together like 9 years, kind of.
Pretty much 9 years.
If you count all 4 years of high school, all 4 years of college, and then now I've been out of college for like a couple years.
April 2nd was the very first time I asked her out.
Where did you meet? So that kind of explains that question as well. We met in high school. I was a cheerleader and he did wrestling, and the practice rooms were like right next to each other. So he kind of, I guess, saw me from there and asked because he's 2 years older than me. So he asked one of his friends, or one of my friends that cheered with me that was in his grade, to introduce us, and the rest is history.
Here we are.
Here we are. I got this question a couple different ways. When did each of us know each other was the one? We talk about this a lot.
We do talk about this.
Patrick says, well, because we've been dating for so long, I feel like when you meet someone as an adult, like you know exactly what you want. So you're like, okay, that was the exact moment I knew like they were the one. But for us, like we kind of grew up with each other. So we have like, I don't know, I'll kind of answer for both of us. Like when you can go through life through so many like trials and tribulations and like
and phases
and different life events and stuff, and still like always come back to each other and always make it through that. I think that's how we knew.
Yeah, I guess going through college and stuff like that. 6
years of our relationship was long distance because we both went to college for 4 years and we're 2 years apart. So that would be 6 years long distance. And we did break up once in high school and we broke up once in college. I think once you like do break up with someone and then you kind of like picture your life without that person, and then like it just wasn't what we wanted. I don't know. I think we've just both gone through, like for me, things in my life that are deeply personal. Like Patrick's always been there and like been my main supporter, and he knows like everything about my family, my life, like anything. And he's always been like there for me. And then
same way around, all the hard times that I've been through, like, I mean, you've always been there. And yeah, like I was saying, the phases, I didn't have the moment, that like splash moment where you're like, oh, you're the one for me. I'm always a small moment guy. Like those small moments create big moments. Then you're just like a whole like big old thing of small moments that turn into a marriage.
Yeah. All right. Do we plan to have kids?
Yes. 8.
Not 8.
4.
Not maybe 4.
But 3 for sure.
Yes, we do have yes, we do plan to have kids if we are lucky enough to be able to have kids, of course. I think, yeah, we definitely want 3, possibly consider 4, depending on how pregnancies go, but not like all at once. Like we would space them out for sure. Like my family has 3 kids, his family has 4 kids, and we both love our siblings and want our kids to have siblings. Someone says, any big future plans, which I don't really know what that means. I guess like kids would be our big future plans, but do we plan to move?
No.
Not
right now.
Literally in like 1 week, it'll be a year that we've had this house.
Which is really crazy because it's going fast.
So no, we don't have any big plans. Like we're not gonna like move across the country or anything like that. Like for us, I think our biggest plans would be kids. Like that would be the next like big thing for us. Like we've already bought a house. Plan. We've already gotten married. We've already gotten a dog. Like we have 2 dogs together. So yeah. That's it.
That's it.
A couple people ask, how is married life different?
It's not really.
Yeah.
You're legally bound to each other, I guess. Bound to each other by a covenant through God, I guess. But not really. I mean, when you've dated this long. Do you think our life has changed? No. After we got married? One thing that I could say that doesn't really matter, but like I think people take your relationship more seriously. And now when we travel, it's like we're a married couple. Not like with our friends and family, obviously, but like traveling or like any like medical things that were to go wrong, like you're like, that's my husband. Like you have more rights to like be with that person, I guess. Or to like, no, you know what I'm saying? You are now my emergency contact. Yeah. But seriously. And that's a big step. And Patrick you're like, so Kayla's funny about that because he'll like fill stuff out and he's like, are you my emergency contact? And like, because now it's like, even though when we moved in together, I guess you should have been my emergency contact, but I've always had my dad. Because it's like, you know. Oh God. Buck is spotting something outside. Okay. Back to the whole question though, conversations with people are very different now. Seriously though, making the transition from like my girlfriend to fiance to my wife is like, weirdly enough in conversations is like a humongous difference. I guess it makes me feel older. Yeah. And then like for me, like the name change for sure has been like a huge change, obviously. Even though technically I haven't filed all of them. Still has not legally changed her name. I haven't like filed all the paperwork and stuff, but just like getting used to like that being my name is weird. When people are like, gobble gobble, bitches, you can be like, God was my middle name. You know how people are like, Payne is my middle name. Sure. A couple people ask this question a lot, like anything that you changed from the wedding. Someone asked things that you did or didn't do that you wish you would or would have done on the wedding day. I wish I would have gotten there earlier so I could have just chilled because it was hectic. I got there with like 2.5 hours before and I think I lost my Apple Watch on our wedding day and I think that's why. Because I was just like, we were so behind. Patrick was so hectic. Nervous. I was literally running around like a chicken with my head cut off because, no offense, Nick, but my brother made us like an hour late because he kept forgetting things in the hotel room and would have to run back and come and then be like, oh shoot, and then run back. So we were like an hour late getting to the venue. And that put us so behind. I would have gotten there earlier. I was so calm on my wedding day. Like, Like, that's usually not my personality. I feel like everyone expected me to be, like, nervous and, like, just, like, freaking out. But, like, surprisingly on that day, I was, like, so mellow. Yeah. She was. It was weird. But, I don't know. Like, as far as, like, vendors and, like, things about the day, I don't think I would change anything, like, big. It sounds really cliche, but our wedding was, like, super smooth and fairly, like, pretty perfect. Well, and we had like a good wedding planner and like people at the venue or just our parents, like if there was an issue, like no one told us about it on the day of because they didn't want us to like worry about it. As far as like how I was on the day of, like, I mean, everyone tells you this, but it goes by so fast and there's always gonna be something where you're like, I wish I would have spent more time doing blank. But it's hard to do that. In the moment, it's just like, it goes by so fast. It's crazy. Like we started, you know how at weddings, everyone will go, the bride and groom will go around and talk to all the tables. Like we got through one half of the room and then
our like planner and stuff literally forced us to sit down and like eat. Which like I'm glad that they did, but we didn't get to talk to all of our tables. I mean, we did on the dance floor, but not like while.
You eventually end up talking to everybody.
Yeah, but there were still some people where I was like, dang it, I didn't even like some people who had to leave early. Like we didn't get to talk to them as much as I would have liked to. So that is one thing. Or we had a DIY photo booth, which was awesome. I love the photos from it, but I spent a lot of time dealing with that, and I wish I would have like been on the dance floor more. But not saying I didn't dance, because I did a lot, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where you feel like it's never enough time. And then another thing is like with my photos, I feel like I wish I would have gotten some more like funny photos, like more like candid photos with each of my bridesmaids, like individually. But at that point we were kind of like pressed on time, and I'm also like sick of taking pictures, so I'm just like like I look kind of in pain in a lot of the photos with like just me and like one bridesmaid, like individual pictures. But
you get very tired of smiling.
Yeah, so those are really the only things that I would change, but this leads me to another question. What is one thing wedding wise that you would tell people is worth splurging on? And then another girl asked like things that you would had to cut back on your wedding. So our two biggest expenses for our wedding were our catering, because we are big like foodies. We like fine dining, and that's like, a lot of people don't care about that, and if you don't, then that's fine, but we did. So we wanted a nice dinner. And then photography. Photography is super important to me as well. You're gonna have those photos forever, and your kids and their kids and like so many generations will look at those photos, and I don't know, they're just really important to me. So those were our two biggest expenses, and I was happy with both of those. We were fortunate enough to have my parents pay for my wedding. They only have one daughter, and my mom was very excited to help me plan. She helped me literally every step of the way. She was very involved. We had the best time planning the wedding. So yeah, I just want to say that. But I will say that we were still extremely like involved in making decisions financially. Like we didn't want to just like pick the most expensive thing, because it's just not necessary at all. It's a wedding, and like not everything has to be the most expensive thing that you can find. Which leads me to, what did we cut back on for the wedding?
Hang on. A videographer. Literally, that's one thing that I was like, I really want this, because
which we didn't really splurge on our videographer, because we know him from home. Our wedding video is up on my channel. You can go watch it. I'll put a card maybe right here too. MNF Productions is who did ours. We went to high school with him. He is really great.
He's so interactive with your entire wedding. And he gets everything. Like it's amazing what we didn't even see him, and he still got every shot that we ever wanted.
It was crazy. Things that we had to cut back on, or not even had to, but like chose to cut back on. Obviously, like I said, you don't have to have everything that's super expensive. Number one is a photo booth. We wanted something like that, but we just decided to do it ourselves, especially since I already had a lot of like camera equipment.
Those photo booths for weddings are freaking expensive.
Outrageously expensive. So I just
you only get them for like 1 or 2 hours, and then you can't use
it's like $500 per hour, and like you would want it for multiple hours. So yeah, I just brought my ring light, an iPad, a tripod, a backdrop that my mom had already bought for the bridal shower. I will say it wasn't as efficient or easy as it would be to pay $1,000 for a photo booth. But in the grand scheme of things, saving money, it was totally worth it. And we still had a great time and like all of our photos. And you have to pay for the app, the photo booth app, but that was like $20. Some other things that we cut back on are like linens. We chose the cheaper option for linens, and then just did our sweetheart table in an additional linen. I don't know if that makes sense. So basically we have like the plain white linens, or like, I don't know what color ours were. I honestly forget.
No clue.
But just the basic like solid color. And then on our sweetheart table, we did like a lace overlay on ours, because that's going to be in the majority of your detail pictures. So we just wanted to dress up the sweetheart table and not really worry too much about the guest tables, other than, you know, having those centerpieces and things like that. So also for our sweetheart table, we printed menus. For
our table. Right. For pictures. Don't get everybody a menu.
Yeah, so like things like that you're like, oh my God, but it looks so pretty in pictures. We only printed them for our sweetheart table and had our photographer really focus on those detail shots on our sweetheart table to where it looked like everyone else's were the exact same as ours, but they weren't, because menus are honestly a waste of money, like in my opinion. If you guys are wedding planning, I have a video of everything that I bought for our wedding that is really helpful, and I will link that down below as well, because that'll tell you all of that and what I spent a lot of money on and what I didn't spend a lot of money on.
She did a good job.
All right, switching it up a little bit. This person asks, are your financials combined? She says, I understand if it's too personal. She's just deciding on that. I don't think it's too personal. We don't care to talk about it. Our financials are not combined.
Yeah, at least. I mean, maybe in the future, but...
Here, let me break it down for you. Here's what we have going on right now. I have a personal checking. He has a personal checking. All of our money, our paychecks get deposited into our personal checking accounts. We do have a combined savings account, which I do recommend if you are going to be saving for a house or saving for children, like anything that it is, a car, who knows. I do recommend having a combined savings because we can just transfer money to the savings account and we know that that's both of ours.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with having a combined checking and just having it all in one place, but for us, we just like do different things. We have like different spending habits, to be honest.
Yeah.
Different incomes, and we just prefer having it separate for now. I think once we have like multiple kids, it might make more sense to have it in one place, but for now, like, and that didn't affect our home buying process at all.
Yeah. And we have like with bills and everything, we just kind of we have like set bills that we pay, split mortgage. It's more complicated than having combined, but it's really not a big deal. Thank God for Venmo.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's not, like what we do is I pay our mortgage, Patrick pays our utilities, and he just subtracts the utilities that I would owe out of what he sends me for the mortgage. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically,
it all evens out
I pay a little more on our mortgage and he pays
all the utility bills.
Yeah, so it evens out.
It's literally just
no one pays more than the
Yeah.
other. Like we pay literally the exact same thing. We just, it's easier for me to just send the mortgage payment and him just to handle all of the other stuff. Yeah. So that's what we do. Similar question, first time young home buyers advice. She's looking for a home with her boyfriend and she doesn't want to F up. I feel you.
I mean, truthfully enough, if you have a realtor, they're going to tell you this, but look for updated bathrooms, updated kitchen. Windows, like.
They're expensive as F, and yeah.
Look at the time it's been on the market. If it's been on the market for,
it's important. A new roof is always good.
And I mean,
things that aren't like, I mean, you, of course, especially us girls, I know we go into a house and we're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I want it. Yeah. But just like pay attention to things that you might not like notice as far as like aesthetic reasons, like visual, it might look fine, but just make sure they are like in good condition.
Yeah. Get somebody to look at it. Like if you know somebody who's handy and understands like things about houses, get them to go with you to visit houses, because there's some things that even we didn't see. But I mean, more on like an emotional side of buying a house, like don't get too attached for sure. Like the first, that's because the first house we looked at, which we were just...
Y'all, the first house we ever looked at, we weren't even planning on buying a house. We literally put in an offer.
We were just testing the waters and it's like, let's go see what it's like to go look at a house. Which
now, like...
Immediately puts offer in and it gets swept from under our feet, like not even 8 hours later.
This is so cliche, but I literally can't say it enough. Everything will work out the way it is meant to work out. Like, that's just how it is. It's so crazy.
We put offers on 4 houses, not including this one. So 5, I guess.
Yeah.
But 4 houses that
was it 4? I thought it was 4 including this one.
Maybe it was 4 including this one.
It was 4 including this one. The first one...
We loved all of them. Literally fell in love with them.
We would have been happy in any of them, but...
But this one literally made so much sense that we actually got it. But yeah, so don't get distraught, don't get frustrated. Like she said,
I got so frustrated. Like I was literally like, we're never gonna find a house. Like this is so annoying. Yeah. Literally, people would like, we put a good offer in on this one house that we were sure of, and now looking back, like all of my shit
would have hated that.
Would have never fit in that little house. Like, but it was pretty, it was cute, and I just loved it. Someone put over asking price for it. That happened to us twice, and we were like, WTF, who the F is offering over asking price? Like, stop. I was literally so done. I'm just like, this is annoying. Like, everything that we look at just either sucks or someone takes it from us, pretty much. Yeah. and I was like really so discouraged. And then this house came on the market, and it's 5 minutes from both of our parents, which
and we 30 seconds from work.
And
we could
5 minutes from our work, and it is way bigger than half the other houses that we looked at.
Basement.
We have a huge yard.
Yeah.
It's not the cutest yard in the world, but our dogs love it. Like, just, it literally fell into place, and we looked at it, and I was like, no, I told Patrick the day it went on the market, I was like, no, we have to look at this today. Today. It works out.
Yeah. I will say, the only two things that I have left are the realtor thing. Find somebody who's actually going to help you and not just looking for that paycheck at the end when you close, because that's going to be super important. Some people will throw you in a trash house just to get you to buy it. The second part that kind of goes along with that, prepare for the worst. So like, you move into a new house, it's a home.
Saved.
Have money saved to where, like, if, you know, sewage like goes out and you end up having like a bathroom flood,
we
or
had to
something
replace
like that.
our like igniter for our, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
we've been lucky to where we haven't had too many issues yet.
big issues.
But
there's always an issue when you're a homeowner. You guys who own homes know this.
Yeah.
Like, there's never a time when you don't have an issue with your house. It's just, let's hope those issues are small.
Yeah.
And all of ours have been.
So far.
We'll
eventually have a big issue, but you know, prepare for that.
All right, let's move on. We talked about that for a long time. Okay, so this one is a fun question. Where is y'all's next vacay? Our next vacation is
Wait for it. 1, 2, 3. Nashville! That was
lame. But yeah,
never doing that again.
Seriously, we are going to Nashville. And I'm really excited. It's like one of those trips that is very like low planning, I guess. Like, I'm gonna plan a lot for it, but we can drive there. Like,
it's one of those places where you can just go and figure it out as you go.
But I'm so excited, and we're gonna vlog it, and it's just me and Patrick, which we don't do a lot of trips of just us. So I think it'll be really fun. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And if you guys are wondering when we are going, it is April 3rd through the 5th. So early April. Toughest part about budgeting for a wedding, I just think deciding what is most important to you and like making sure you're not gonna regret that decision.
Yeah.
Realizing that you probably are gonna have to splurge, whatever splurge means to you. It could be $1,000 to some people, $5,000 to some people, like whatever splurge means to you. I think you have to realize that you are gonna have to do that for at least 1 to 2 things to get what you really want. Weddings ain't cheap. Gosh, I'll say that. Our favorite thing about being married?
That legally you cannot leave me. No, I don't mind. I wouldn't necessarily focus more on the marriage, but like, I guess for me, it's like living together. I mean,
what about it though?
Well, being married's great because like we finally hit that step and we've been waiting for it for a long time. But I guess living together, and it's like, you know, when we weren't living together, we would like see each other, you know, 3 or 4 times a week. But it's nice to wake up to her. It's nice to have like the dogs together because she's now created a schedule for the dogs and treats them well.
I do.
But yeah, it's not, and like we have a little routine where we like, I'll go to the gym, I'll come home, and like we'll fix dinner, we'll watch shows and stuff like that, and that's nice.
Yeah, I would say the same. Like having that peaceful, I don't know, no matter how like weird or bad your day is at work, like even though we do work in the same place, even though that's about to change, but just like being able to come back to like your peaceful place, which is your person that you love the most and our home.
And you can like unwind. You can unwind.
Yeah. This one's kind of interesting. What is something you didn't know about each other until you moved in together? And like, I like honestly can't think of anything.
You can't think of anything
that I didn't know about you before we moved in?
Like how late I stay up and how horribly.
I knew that about you.
Did you know that I sleep talk?
I did know that because we travel a lot together. I'm trying to think of like little things that I might not have known.
I didn't know the full extent of how many clothes she had. It's obnoxious. I have like this much room in the closet.
You don't, if you need more room, I can make you more room.
I don't need more room.
Okay.
But I'm just saying.
The thing about me is like if there's extra closet space, like it's gonna get filled, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, I like literally can't think of anything. Like I knew you stayed up late. I knew that you twitch before you fall asleep. Yeah, I would say for me, the only thing is like, I knew Patrick sleep talk. Like, how would you say that? Sleep talked? I don't know. He talks in his sleep and it drives me insane.
I don't talk in my sleep.
Okay, but like let me explain it. Basically,
this is my
I'll
condition.
like wake him up, or like his alarm will go off and he does not hear it. And I'm like, Patrick, turn off your alarm. And he's like, okay, yeah. And he doesn't. And I'm like, Patrick, turn off your alarm.
Still.
And then he'll legitimately sit up and look at me and like have a conversation with me about like something crazy. One time started talking about the Navarro cheer team and I'm like,
still asleep.
He said, how do you think the Navarro cheer team feels when they had to get up? And I'm like, what? And I'm not making that up.
At the time.
So yeah, I just like, I didn't realize the extent to which he talked.
That only happens like very rarely.
And when you drink and then wake up.
It's when I drink and stay up and then I'm like woken up at a very early time.
Was it hard adjusting to living together?
Something. I mean, I think
I think so. Those, yeah. I think it's all like, I think no matter how much you know someone, because like I said, we pretty much knew the way we were about sleep, like living situations, messiness, who's going to take responsibility, whatever. But I think always it's just an adjustment living with anybody. And especially like when you have a roommate in college, like I would never go to my, you know, friend Kenzie or Erin, who are probably watching this. Hey, I would never go up to them and be like, can you please do the dishes? Like they've been in the sink for days. Like I wouldn't do that, but like you're more comfortable with your significant other. So I think it like starts more fights. Like, I don't know. You're just more comfortable being like, can you please do that?
Yeah.
Or like having an attitude with them.
You definitely
Whereas you wouldn't do that with a normal roommate relationship. Does that, I don't know if that makes sense, but like.
You definitely have to like try really hard to be nice to each other.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've been working on a lot more now.
Because we're just used to being like say whatever we think, or like
we're
both
very blunt.
attitude and sassy.
She's attitude sassy.
So are you. But like I think routines are hard to adjust to. Even though you know something about someone, if your routine is different, like Patrick likes sleeping in and I'm like, come on, we need to get up and get our day started. Not that I'm a morning person. I like hate mornings just as much as the next person, but
I think you get like frustrated with me because mine's sporadic. You know, some days I'll wake up at 7. Some days I'll wake up at 11. Yeah. So it's like,
and like especially if you do have dogs or children, especially involved. For us, it's just dogs right now. Like having that routine and like splitting up responsibilities can be hard to adjust to that too.
Yeah. Living together for a year and we're still working on that.
For sure. This one is kind of interesting. What is your and your husband's proudest personal achievement and professional achievement?
You can go ahead and go first. Actually, I'll go first because yours is probably better than mine. Professional as in like a job or work related. I mean, I haven't hit like a milestone where I'm like, yes. But like I was telling her earlier, like my professional like achievement that I'm like most proud of is like making it to college baseball and spending 4 years there and like being a captain for 3 of those. Like that was, I spent my entire life playing baseball, so that was like my job for 20 years. Didn't get paid for it, wish I did, but that was like, that's my like professional achievement, is getting to that point.
And then what would your personal one be?
I got to marry her. It's super cliche, but I'm a big like family, like that's my goal, is to have a family, be a dad. So first step, marriage is in the books. Personal achievement.
For me, I don't know. For my personal achievement, I guess like an obvious one would be like starting my YouTube channel, I guess, and just like making that successful, because that's all you guys have probably heard this spiel. It's something I've always wanted to do, so like to take that step and actually do it and like be somewhat successful with it was really cool. But also like I pride myself personally on just like, I don't know, being smart, and like that's just something that a lot of people don't know about me, and that's Not like I walk around being like, oh, I'm so smart. Like, I'm not smarter than anyone else really, but like, I just feel like with doing fashion and YouTube and stuff, it's something that not a lot of people really know about me. Before YouTube, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is like my biggest personal achievement probably would have been like my GPA in college, or how good I did in college. I think my GPA was like a 3.8 or something.
Wow, double majoring. Yeah,
I was a double major. I'd never, and Patrick can maybe say, approve yes or no of this, I never really realized that I was smart. Like, I just always thought I was pretty average. But then in high school especially, not anyone really thought that about me. And then when I would make better grades, then like people who would tell me that they were smarter than me or just like act that certain way, you guys know how people act in high school, then I would be like, oh, okay, like maybe I am. And then I got into the school that I wanted to get into, and then in classes in college like econ or like really hard psych classes that a lot of people really struggled in, like I did really well in. So I don't know, I think that was like a big personal achievement. Like, it made me like proud of myself. And then professional, I guess like YouTube could be considered professional as well. But in my real job, I kind of started as a nonprofit director, not really having much experience with nonprofits specifically. I've never written grants before, but I did, and like I feel like I'm a good writer and stuff. And so when I like got my first winning grant of $5,000 for our nonprofit, like that, like I felt really proud then. And then planning an event, like our very first event that I had planned, and I was really nervous because if you plan this big event and you spend money on it and then it fails, like that's embarrassing. And it was really successful, and we raised a lot of money that way, and it's been something that we do annually every year ever since then. So those would be mine. That was kind of a long-winded answer, but
you got a lot of achievements.
All right.
Hers is also marrying me.
Okay, and then the last couple questions are regarding our honeymoon, so we'll kind of lighten it up a little bit before we go. Someone just said, how was your honeymoon? And she also says, how was married life so far? Is it what you expected? What is different? I think married life is what we expected. It's pretty much the same once you lived with the person.
Honeymoon was sick.
Our honeymoon was awesome. We loved it.
Check out the video.
Yeah, I have 2 vlogs. We filmed a lot while we were there. We really freaking loved it. We got really sunburnt, but it's inevitable there. Like, the sun is brutal. But we did experiences that I will never forget. Like, so cool. And then someone else asks how long the flights were for our honeymoon. So we live in Virginia, Southern Virginia. And from there, the flights were basically 24 hours, like full travel time. It was a full 24-hour travel time. So that's why we went for so long, because it was like basically 2 weeks by the end of it, because if you're spending that long traveling, like you're gonna want to spend like a while there. But honestly, I will say the flights were not as bad as we expected at all.
We've flown a lot too, though.
Yeah, we've also traveled a lot.
I mean,
but never that long. Our longest flight that we've done is maybe 13 hours.
Yeah. So you have like your short flight to Charlotte to California, which is like 5.5 hours, 6 hours. And then it was like an California 8.5 to 9, which was
Maria to Bora Bora, whatever.
So it was about 4 flights, totaling about 18 total hours plus layovers.
Once you get there, it's all worth it, honestly. Like the water, like, is so blue. It hurts your eyes. Like, it's just gorgeous.
It's really cool.
All right. I think that is everything that we are going to answer today. Thank you guys so much to everyone who submitted questions, and hopefully this was interesting. You guys like really had some really good questions, like unique, interesting ones. What did you think?
I thought they were good.
Anyways, that is it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. What is something new that you learned about us that you didn't already know? Thanks to Patrick for being on the channel once again. And yeah, we will talk to you guys soon in our next travel vlog or whatever video that Patrick's in.
Yeah.
Say bye. Bye. Bye, guys.
All right. Don't put that on there.